I want to, there's a little bit of a disclaimer. This is the West Chop Lighthouse on Martha's Vineyard, and there are 3 painters in this group that painted this with me this summer. So they already know the whole building. The only thing is we painted in the morning and the light was hitting this side of the building and this side was dark. And this picture, this photograph is in the afternoon. So everything's all reversed. So I hope it's not going to be too tedious for those that have done this scene before. And of course, this picket fence is the real challenge, I think. And I hope some of you had a chance to watch that video on perspective, because this was a good scene to do a 2-point perspective lesson on how the angles work and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, our real task is to get a nice feeling of sunlight hitting this thing. I clearly didn't want to do the fence all the way across because it started to look like, you know, a piano keyboard or something. So I left it open so that your eye can come in through the driveway and go down into that little garage, that little small house down below. So yeah, so it's a lesson in perspective and getting the light coming in. And I'm going to start in with some just pure water as I usually. And so I'm going to spend the first 10 minutes just doing the sky. I'm going to go right through the top of the lighthouse, all that metal work, because I want that blue to show through where the glass is. And the tree is going to be darker than the sky, so I can go right, the sky will go right over the tree. And I'm going to bring my water right down. I mean, yeah, my water right down to the level of the land and right through the ocean. And I've got a hair kicking around in there on the brush that's jumping out. Okay, there we go. Okay, and I want to make sure this is equally wet and not drying out on me. So I'm going to, now I'll tell you, there are a couple things that are a little bit tricky, and that is when you have these crevices where the water could dribble, like the water is going to dribble down against that chimney. You got to watch out you don't get too much water to puddle there, or else you could get the sky dribbling right through your house. But that's not a disaster. You can just wash it, lift it out. Okay, I'm going to go right down to the bottom of this, right down to the lawn, and I'm going to stop there, edge of the house. And I just looking at it from the side, I want to make sure I have.
Did you do the tree or you did?
I went right through the tree. Yep. Too much water there and there and there. There we go. Okay. So now I'm gonna.
Did you go around the chimney or not?
I did go around the chimney, though I could have gone through it because the chimney is darker than that. But I kind of don't want a lot of blue. You know, chimney is eventually going to be red. So anyway, so I'm going to, as some of you have seen before, I'm going to be a little bit daring here. If you're watching my palette, I'm using a little bit of alizarin crimson and a fairly moppy looking brush. And I'm going to just hit the bottom half of it. I'm going to go around the roof of that house, but I'm going to put some red in here, which right now looks like, oh my God, what's he doing? This is, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. And come on up here, go across there. Okay, I don't want these things to puddle too much. I'm picking up the excess water with my brush. Here we go. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna wipe off that red, and oh boy, yep. Wow, this is drying fast. Okay, I'm using my biggest brush, a little bit of cerulean blue, actually a lot of it, and a little bit of the ultramarine. And since the paper's already wet, I really want a lot of color on my brush. Oh, there we go. And right over the tower there. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, here we go. Oh, woo, look at that go. Okay, now. Here's where I got to be a little bit careful. Around the edges of that. See, I got a puddle of blue there, and I'm going, okay, there we go. You know, sometimes you think of your colors just like if you were following raindrops on a window. If you touch them, they'll follow where you go. So, now I'm going to take this, go down. Go, Kathleen. You can come right up next to me if you want. Well, it's all right. I mean, and I got to straighten this line out here. Okay, and I've got this pink here, but I'm going to throw some blue over it, some stripes in here, and this pink will end up as things dry. The blue will continue to run down, so you'll have this feeling of sort of late afternoon light coming across. I sometimes like to put yellow if it's a morning light. I like this pinky color if it's an afternoon light, but that's just me. It's just the way I see it. Okay, what else am I doing? Okay, oh, I know. Let's take, while we're here, I don't want to, I'll stop in a few moments. I'm going to take the same, that pinky color. I'm going to throw, well, it'd be purpley. I'm going to throw it into this little bit of a road here. Because the road, even though it's black asphalt or something, it's going to reflect the color of the sky.
Did you wet that?
I didn't. I was kind of moving fast. I didn't bother because I was trying to kind of move things along here. I could have. Mm-hmm. But it's not a big area. So it's not like, here we go. Okay, so I have a little bit of purple, blue, a little bit of pink in there. And I'm going around these pickets, maybe just a little bit inside of that one. And I guess I'm gonna stop right there and let you guys get look at this. I feel like I've got 75% of the paint, the piece covered. So okay, I'll take a pause now and let you guys get going with the splashing some color in there.
So
Remember,
what did you use for the pink?
alizarin crimson.
Alizarin crimson. Okay.
So you could use a permanent red or another color too. Got a personal preference. And remember,
and then that purple was all three colors?
The purple was just alizarin crimson and
the two blues?
The two blues, yep. And remember, your colors are going to dry lighter. So if you put the blue in and you go, oh my gosh, that's too strong, you may wish you'd added more color later. All right, yeah. What's that? Yeah.
Yes, good luck.
Coming down.
All right, thanks.
How's everybody? That's good.
I thought this not too long ago, because I really didn't have a big round.
That was a good lobby brush. I don't, yeah,
Did you go into the ocean?
I did right into the ocean.
You did.
I went right through it. Yep, I went right down to the edge of the grass.
Oh, okay.
Even though it's sort of pink, my ocean will be darker than that pink color.
Which
Hello?
blue did you use for the sky, Ned?
I mixed cerulean and ultramarine. I really can't
Okay.
tell you how much of one and how much of another I use, but
With like the alizarin crimson, does it start dark and then get lighter as it hits the horizon line?
yeah, sort of.
Okay.
I wouldn't say really dark, but you put the lizard crimson and then your next stroke will be with a little bit of water, so it's slightly diluted.
Okay.
You go right into the tree, because the tree's gonna be so darker that way.
Okay. I was trying not to hit the house.
Yeah. Okay, you don't want it that. Yeah, good, 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 good. When you go back to a wash, you want to have less water on your brush. Because if you have water on, you get those caterpillar kind of bloomy things.
Right.
So you want to have more pigment and less water. You want to be introducing, when you go back into any of this, you want to go back in with pigment, but not the water. It's already flooded with water. But that's a hard balance to keep. I'll be honest. Yeah.
Hey Ned, quick question. What was the driveway color-wise?
The driveway, I was going to just put the alizarin crimson and then put a little blue on top of it, but I ended up just mixing alizarin crimson and blue. I got that purple color. So,
Thank you.
what's that? Yeah. Yeah, next to the fence, that driveway is the next lightest thing. I mean, the fence obviously in the White House, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with just stop. Like,
Yeah, this-
others may be working and, you know, just keep going just because. So let's just take a soft brush.
Okay.
That's the next one. That's good. Just get some water in here, just kind of, because you're gonna have some lines in there, but okay. Take some water and just kind of fluff that. Not too much, go easy on water until you see how much you need. But you want to just disrupt those edges, just feather them, rough them up a little bit. All right, and don't keep fussing, because once the paint is on, you don't want to disturb it too much. Let it dry, let it settle into little crevices. You keep adding water to it, you can get some puddling that might not be pleasant. It could be a happy accident, but in a couple of places where the color got into a white side of the building, I just took a brush and lifted some of that out while it's before I end up painting the building. And I noticed I had a whole lot of blue paint on my masking tape around the edges. And I just used my paper towel to wipe some of that up because there have been a few times when that blue, whatever's on the masking tape, it will suddenly dribble down into the painting. And then you're like, oh, you didn't want that. So keep the tape. If you guys have your paper tape down, keep that kind of cleaned up. You don't have a lot of heavy wet color on. Okay, I'm gonna work on the greens. This next step won't be quite as long. I'm gonna do the greens and then let that just stop. I mean, the grasses. Yeah, let me do that. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to put some water on the grassy area here, right up and around the houses. I'm floating the water into this. I'm putting water into these large areas. I don't think I'm going to try to put water in between every picket. That's just going to take forever. But up here, I will. That's Lori's husband coughing in the background, I think.
You got it.
I started to recognize everybody. There's a dog, it Kathleen's or something. And I'm putting a little bit of water down in here. Okay, let's get going. Okay, Aureolin, I like as a beginning color. I'm gonna throw that on there. There's the yellow. Now that's that's just yellow. That's awful. I'm gonna put a little cerulean with it. And now I'm throwing the cerulean on there with the yellow, going around the building, going around my white building. And along the edge of I need more color. Come on, Aureolin, cerulean. Okay. Okay, now I'm going around some of these pickets. Now I got to make sure when I'm inside the pickets, I get it dark enough. Okay, I'm gonna take this right down around the front of this.
He recognized your coughing on that. He says, "Is that Charlie coughing?" I'm getting my cup of coffee. It's very hot. Whoa, it's hot.
Okay, little blops of green at the bottom of the picket fence. This is getting a little tedious here.
I'm gonna have to remember to start drinking decaf coffee to get these small things.
Right. And I gotta remember that since there is water on here, I need to put the paint on pretty strongly. Okay, and I'm gonna go up around these pickets, zigzag, like W's, up and down. Be a little bit careful here. And I've got a brush that's pretty big. I think the brush is just the width of the spaces between the pickets. So
I
if
was
that works-
about to ask what size that brush is.
Yeah, it's so old, the number is worn off of it, so I can't tell you. But I really love it. And some of the people say, brushes lose their point. And yeah, this one's lost its point, but it's such a friend. I just know how it works. Okay, going around those pickets. Okay, now let's get a little more blue, a little more red or yellow. Okay, and now I'm going in between these pickets. If I charge the brush up with enough paint, I can do one stroke. Bum, bum. Dot. It's like Morse code. I got a little long, short, long, short. And if some of them are a little wider than others, then that's all right. This picket fence, kind of homemade, I guess. Didn't come from Home Depot. Those plastic fences. Ugh. Okay, like I say, it's just just check a few things there, make sure it looks right. Oh, I know. Oops. I
Forgot what colors did you use for that nice green that you're
Yeah,
making?
Yeah, it's aureolin and cerulean blue.
Cerulean blue.
Yeah, and I've got a space between this first post and the picket fence. There we go. What was that?
That's one of us.
All right, I think I'm gonna let it go at that. I may fuss around the pickets for a few minutes, but not for too long. I could have used, I have this brush here. Take a look in the video. I've got this flat brush. I could have used the flat brush to put in those little chunks of those little rectangles of. Yeah, this flat brush works really well too because it gives you a nice sharp edge. So a flat brush or a round brush, whichever is your preference. Okay, go ahead, go at it. Let's get that green down next. And we'll come back with the shadow side of the building after this and we'll keep moving on. Now.
But you didn't get any trees, you just got the one.
Yeah, I'll do the trees later.
Ned, I
Yeah.
don't have an aureolin yellow.
Then cadmium yellow works,
Okay.
or new gamboge. Yeah.
I got a new gamboge. I've got a Hansa yellow medium.
Oh, Hansa yellow. That's a nice one. Yeah. That's a good one.
Okay.
I think the Hansa and the cerulean will give you a nice tone. New gamboge and the cerulean, yeah, I don't like it quite as much, but
Okay. The Hansa and cerulean. Okay, thank you.
I think so. Yeah. Okay, how are we doing on greens? Squint your eyes and look at your picket fences. You may see that you might have missed one little spot, or there's one of the pickets a little fatter than another. Don't get too hung up on that. I'm looking at mine saying, oh yeah, they're not all exactly the same width, and I'm not going to get too concerned about that.
Plus, it's fun trying to get back to the same green.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Kathleen Selecki would like brushes to be like fountain pens with the same color, just keeps on coming. You don't have to reload.
This is why blotchiness is good.
Yeah, yeah.
I meant
No,
to do that.
Yeah, when you go back and remix the color, you're never gonna get it exactly right, and then you're gonna have this nice mottled look with which gets some variety. You know, we're not painting the walls of our dining room with one flat color. The modulation and the modeling is great. Okay, I'm going to start my next step, and I had to look carefully at the picture. Which is darker, the shadow side of the building or the red roof?
I think the roof.
I think so too. So then my next step is to do the shadow side of the building. And then I will then do the red roof later. So you always go from light to dark. We've done our sky, we've done the grass, we've done the driveway. That's all very pale. The sunlight's hitting down on top of it. Now we're going to get into the shadow sides of the building, then the roof, and then we'll eventually get the dark trees in here and the black up in the lighthouse. Okay, so I'm going to mix. Now, the color of shadows. On a summer day, on a warm summer day where the sunlight is yellow, the shadow color is going to be the opposite of yellow. And the opposite of yellow is a purpley color. Maybe not too different, maybe a darker version of our road. If you have a foggy day and the light is not yellow, but kind of a misty bluish tone, think of a mist, a foggy scene, then the shadow colors of buildings will actually be a yellowy color, a warm brown rather than a purple. So I'm not going to switch on us, but I'm going to do the darker, and these spaces aren't big enough for me to throw water on all at once. So I'm just going to mix a little bit of alizarin. I'm sorry, a little bit of the ultramarine and alizarin. Alizarin is always my strongest now. I put alizarin on the pad on the palette first. That's pretty strong, and then I'll mix the blue near it. I don't know if you can see my palette, and then I mix it toward the red until I get about a color that I think I like. So I'm going to throw that on. What side am I doing? Okay, got to make sure I do the right side. Okay, that's not red enough. Okay, so now I'm going, this whole thing, the eave and everything is going to be I'm going right over the window, down, right through it, because that window, there's nothing lighter than the side of the house on the window. Here's this eave, and there are parts of this that are going to be kind of reddish. I'll throw a little bit more in there. And parts that are going to be that blue. Now, I do want to get a good straight line there. There's that. Now, while I've got this color, the heck with it. I'm going to go right down into the grasses with maybe a little bit of a shadow as it goes down, because the light is hitting it. There we go. Okay. So while I'm kicking around over there, I may as well a little bit of shadow under the roof edge there. I'm going to put in my doorway right down to the driveway and a little teeny window there. Okay, that's the shadow there. Okay, now here we go. Now we got to go back here. This is definitely dark here. Boom. Oh, I need more. I need to put more.
Ned, what was the blue that you used for that?
I'm using the ultramarine, which is the same color I used in the sky. So it sort of hopefully keeps a sort of harmony here.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, then this whole area under here is going to be dark, except for I got to leave that post, that that holds up the, what am I trying to say? It holds up the roof over there. Okay.
The post.
The post. It holds up the porch. Okay, I'm going to come around these. I'm going to throw this across here. I'm going to do this is the part of the step where you would kick it with your toe. That one is darker. Now the side of this is the steps is dark. I have a dark coming down from here. Come on, let's get it darker. That little eave thing is dark. That's at a diagonal. Then I go this diagonal right down to my foundation. Leave that post there. Okay, then I have a little bit of dark underneath here. Goes right out to the edge of this thing here. All right, now what? A little teeny line here. Oh, this is dark up here. Okay, and then the last, I'm going to do the underside of the eave here. Got to be a little stronger. What else do I have? I have the lighthouse has a shadow coming around in an arc coming down to the roof. I'm doing all that area underneath the that railing. There's that. I'm going to put a line in here. Put a line in there. Now I'm going to get a little bit smaller brush. I'm almost done with this. Not quite done. Okay. With a smaller brush from the eave, I'm going to do a few. I'm going to pull out a few lines to indicate clapboards. I'm not going to do every single one. I'm going to do a vertical line here because there's a board at the corner of the building that is vertical. And from that board comes some of these clapboards. Now, these clapboards down here are going, they slightly go uphill. These clapboards up here go toward that perspective point to my left. You want to try to keep the clapboards about the same distance, but we don't have to do every one of them. Long, short, medium. Long, short, medium. I'll kind of leave that going. I'll put a few over here. Just a few hints of those. Okay, while we're doing pretty good here. I'm going to mix a little bit of New Gamboge and the cerulean. So I'm going to do the trim on the windows, and then I'm going to stop. Now, the New Gamboge is a darker green. Now, I can tell these windows have metal storm windows. So I kind of like the white lines in there. So I'm going to leave the green trim. There's a little bit of a cap on here. Edge down to the bottom, down the middle. Okay, I'm just going to leave that. Now on the other side here, this is going to be a little. Whew. Careful here. I got this is kind of wet. I got to be careful in there. Okay, put a little bit of green there. And I'm going to say that my doorway has a green trim, so I'm going to go inside there with some. There's no cross piece of green. Oh, there's green right down. The foundation has this green, dark green trim down here. There we go. And what I forgot to do before, I'm going to get my, let's start my smallish brush. I'm going to get the alizarin and the blue, and I'm going to do this railing here. Here we go. Come on, keep it. I'm going to do that big chunk in the middle here. Come on. I'm going to do the, wow. Okay, and a little, as small a line as I can draw for the railing. And then the railing goes back in a little bit of an oval down there. Boom. Okay, and there are a couple brackets. I won't worry about those. Oh, and there's a underneath the cap. You're seeing underneath it. So okay, I'm gonna quit right there. What a mess down there. All right.
Almost hypnotic.
Okay, I'll stop there. Let you guys fuss around here.
Is the lighthouse the purple? I mean, the lighthouse, did you do that in purple?
Yeah, the shadow of the lighthouse. Yeah, same, it's white, so it's the same as the white building.
So then you added some yellow into the other windows,
The trim of the windows?
the trim.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I used the new gamboge. No, I didn't want the same light green that the grass is. It's definitely a darker green.
But use the new gamboge and
And I think that ultramarine.
No, you used cerulean in New Gamble.
Oh, I did? Okay.
I
All
wrote
right.
it down.
All right. I stand corrected.
Fact checking here.
Okay. You start to feel like you're a carpenter as you go around all these fascia boards and eaves and under and over window trim. All right. The next step isn't too tricky. I'm just gonna do the roofs and the inside of the windows, the darks where the shades are, where the screens are. And I will wait and do the greenery in a separate, and the ocean in a separate step. Okay, so I'm going to take okay. So the red roof, I see the right side of the roof as being lighter slightly than the other one. I really like the roof down below is really hitting this. The sun's hitting it really nicely. So I'm going to use a little raw sienna, my yellow, my brownish yellow. I'm going to grab a little bit of permanent red, mix the two together. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, it's getting more color on there. Okay, there we go. Now, the reason why I'm not going to put the blue in now, the blue's darker than the roof. So I got to let the roof dry before I paint the blue water in. That's why we're doing it in these stages. Okay, here we go. Ooh. Try to get that roof. I'm going over my shadow by a little bit. That doesn't matter. There we go. That's nice. 3 strokes and that's done. Okay. I think it worked out pretty well. What did I just say it was? Oh.
Raw sienna and permanent red.
Raw sienna and permanent red. There we go. Thank you, Suzanne. Right up to the edge of that. Boom. I am going to leave a little edge of white right here before I get to the shadow of that eave. So there's that red. And now the other red, okay, and I'll use this. Let's do this. Do this chimney while I'm at it, because that's hitting the light. Okay, now the other side of the red. Alizarin, permanent, raw sienna, red, and I'm going to use a little bit of blue in it, a little bit of, too much. Let's see how that looks. Okay, look all right, or is it too dark? Let's use more red into it. Okay, so I just added blue to my sort of rusty color. To darken that red. And I'm not going to, you see there's that white, there's sort of a white seam where the roof comes together. I'm not going to try to save that. That doesn't really interest me. Come right down, and this darker tone is going to be the color of, I see it as, I'm going to run it all together. The little shed roof will be that darker tone. I could make it the lighter tone. I don't really feel like it. Okay, there's that. And while I have a darker tone, I may as well do the side of the Nope, the chimney's too wet. I'm not gonna mess with it. Make that mistake again. Okay, I'm gonna make some darks in the windows. I'm gonna take ultramarine blue. I'll take my permanent red since I've been just using it. And now notice I leave a little bit of white between the top and the bottom. Oh, Kathy's coming back in. Hold on. Okay. And if I have a little bit of white around the edges, that's where the metal, you know, what do you call it? The storm windows are. That's quite all right. Kathleen, are you back in? I admitted her. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm back in, thanks.
Good,
yes.
good. Okay, great. Kathleen, I just did the roof and now I'm doing the insides of the windows and I'm leaving a little bit of white around, you know, it's these metal storm windows and I don't mind the white there. If I filled it all in, I could get it, it could look really gloomy. Over on this side, it is going to be pretty darn dark. There you go. Inside, I'm going inside the green trim. Just little rectangles of dark. And my, okay. My screen, my storm window, my storm door. There's that. What else is there? There's nothing else to do. I just did all the trim. I'll reinforce that that porch there. I'm going to put a little bit of dark down the side of that. I put a line down the right-hand side of that column, and I might. Do I need to get that darker under there? Maybe I do. Just underneath. Just underneath there. It just seems to be needs to be a little darker. I don't know. That too much? There we go. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Light color roof. I don't want to hit the dark side of the chimney because it was still too wet. I got the two colors of the roof. We'll come back with, and I did the window. So little rectangles, and then we'll get into the greens, the ocean, and then we'll be about done. We have one little trick to do with the picket fence, but that's the last step.
Oh,
The little trick. Yeah. Yeah, you thought you were done with picket fence. We're going back. We're going back into it. Judy, you know that slop sink has a better, the slop sink distributes water faster.
the shower.
The shower, whatever. Well. I know, that's me making a mess, and I'm the landlord. I can clean it up later.
And you use, for the red roof.
I use that raw sienna and a red.
And then the darker.
I just add a little bit of blue.
Which blue?
You can use ultramarine or
Okay. You use Rossian and
one. The truth is, if you've been using cobalt up here, then use cobalt in your mixture. If you've been using ultramarine up here, use ultramarine in some of your mixtures. It just keeps a little bit of harmony.
Ned,
Yep.
again, I'm sorry, the original color that you mixed for the roofs, mine's looking different. What did you mix for those?
Well, I started with the raw sienna and I gradually added a little bit of permanent red to it.
Okay, okay, thank you.
If you start with red, you're going to have a really hard time because red's such a strong color.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah, start with yellow. Yeah, because the yellow is kind of gentle and then slowly add to it.
Okay, that's what I was doing. Thank you.
Yeah, it's sort of like some aspects of cooking. You know, you got to be careful with your seasoning. You don't come in too hard, too strong.
Yeah, on mute here.
Ned, I'm trying to write a couple of these color things down so I don't forget them.
Yeah.
Tell me again, start with the burnt sienna, I wrote that. Then what color do you add? Also,
Actually, I used the
Huh?
raw sienna, the yellowy brown.
okay.
And then I added a little bit of permanent red. And then that was the light side. Then when I wanted to make it darker, I just added a little bit of blue.
Okay, now, also, how did you get your purple colors for the shadows on the house?
Yeah, anytime you mix a blue and a red, you're going to get a purple. So I used alizarin crimson and ultramarine blue. You could use cerulean blue and permanent red, or cerulean blue and alizarin. It doesn't really matter. Since I used ultramarine in the sky, I used ultramarine to make my shadows.
Okay.
And then you use the lighter one for the chimney?
Yes, I did. I painted the whole chimney, but I didn't paint the dark side of the chimney. I'm saving it for later.
Right.
I started to put a paint in there. It was just starting to
Yep.
bleed. All right, I'm ready to move into the next stage. No, I haven't done anything with the fences. We will though. Be sure we will. All right. My next step will be to do the ocean. Now that this little garage thing is dry, so a nice crisp line down there, and then I'm going to get into the greenery because that's the next darkest thing in this painting. Off to the left of the building, down here against the little hedge down at near the ocean. So let's get an ocean color. This you do want to have a good straight line for that horizon. You don't want to have that wobble too much, but okay. I don't want to get you nervous about anything, but all right, I'm getting ultramarine blue, but by itself, I think that's too just blue, and I'm going to add a little touch of alizarin. Oops, that was too much. Okay, and I got the two of them there. Here we go. Okay, there we go. That's good and strong. Right against that building right across here. I'm just moving my hips, my arm across to get that blue. I'm going to bring that blue right down into what would be the hedges down there. I'm not going to worry about that for now. Maybe I'll go around this one. Okay, and I want to keep the same color on both sides, so let's not screw that one up. Come down along the edge of this.
Well, that looks almost purple. Did you mix something with it?
I did add a little bit of alizarin crimson. I'll leave that there. And I am going to add there. It's not in the picture, but I want to add that blue over here. Again, I've lined that up. And okay, so there's that. So now I got that in there. Now I'm going to add a new gamboge and to the blue, and I'm going to create a little bit of a blurred in bush so that and let's see another. Okay. And while this blue is, I'm going to do the same thing down here. A little bit of new gamboge and blue. Wow, this is pretty dark green down here. It's going to get darker when I go over the blue. Here we go. There it is. Wow, that's a dark line. There's that. There's that. And then I have this nice green thing here. Now this green bush is, the light is coming from my left. So the left side of the green bush is lighter. And I'm going to take a little bit of the new gamboge, maybe the cerulean. Let me see how that looks.
Go back to which blues you were using for the ocean.
That was the ultramarine and the alizarin. Okay, now new gamboge and cerulean. Well, come on, I want to get this a little bit darker on that side. There we go. A little bit darker at the bottom of that bush. Okay, there we go. That's good. Maybe same thing over here. Okay, now the trees. Here we go. Clean off my palette. I'm going to use at the edges of the trees where they catch more light. There's going to be new gamboge, it's a light yellow, and I'm going to use ultramarine blue. Where it's a darker yellow, I may use the raw sienna. So here we go. New gamboge and the blue. And here we go. I'm going to have some fun with this. And this tree is, I'm not going to try to copy what's in the picture because the picture doesn't show me much tree. And I want to have a little bit more of something against this building. And I want to have a little more. And notice that I'm leaving some holes in the tree so that you can see through in a few areas. It's not like a big dense lump.
Now, and is that as much brown as it is green?
Yeah, the new gamboge and the blue make it get it pretty dark. And that's part of what you're looking at. You may be seeing more brown. I'm seeing green. Kathleen, do you see? Doesn't it look green here?
Yeah.
See, that's part of
Whereas on the screen, it might look a little. Okay, now I'm bringing this right down.
So it's new gamboge and whatever you have laying around for blues.
Yep. Okay, there's that. Is that tree too crazy. Okay, now I'm gonna take a same thing, new gamboge, and this tree is bigger. We're gonna have the yellow on the left side. And I'm gonna have ultramarine and raw sienna on the darker sides of this. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, I'm gonna go right up against here. I want to block in the house, make that house look brighter because I've got a dark next to it, you know? Yeah. The underneath of this tree canopy is darker. A little bit more blue up in here. At the edges, I put these little tweaks as though you're seeing the pine, irregularity of the pines. These things come down almost like fingers. Good, I like that. Looking good. Now I take a little bit of the alizarin, whatever, and I'm going to, let's get it darker. Come on, alizarin and blue. Okay, do I want to do any more to that? This leans to the right, leans us into the picture. I can go crazy with a lot of branches. I think I'm going to leave it. Oh, maybe put a little bit of something up in here. And one right here. Okay, is that where we are here? Did I get what I wanted to do? Ocean green hedges. Done. Okay. While I'm just, my brush is slightly wet, I'm going to darken that side of the chimney because now it's dry. So a little bit of the good. And I'm going to put a little bit of shadow onto the roof. There we go. Good. Got the dark side of the chimney, a little bit of shadow in the chimney, and greens. All right, great. Yeah.
Did you have burnt sienna or anything?
I haven't used burnt sienna today. Nope. Okay, we're going to end with some work on the fence, a few little details, and then we'll be done. So work on those greens. Let the trees have some life, some animation.
Ned, I'm waiting to see what you do about the fences. You're tricking again.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to build the anticipation.
Ned, I have a
Yeah.
question. Underneath the tree on the left, are those pencil lines?
There are some pencil lines. And
What do you do about those?
when the painting is totally dry, like this afternoon, I'll just take an eraser and just rub like crazy. And
Oh,
they'll come
okay.
right up. They'll come right up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I even can see some pencil lines in my building, and if I want to get rid of those, I will too.
I like the pencil lines. I like leaving them.
Yeah, no, leaving the pencil lines in, and then who is it that does the, this Judy goes in with the pen and ink. That kind of calligraphy is wonderful.
For those of us who left the boat in the background, it's a little challenging right now.
What, did you keep the boat in?
Oh, I did.
Okay.
I'm just holding my breath here.
Are we going to see the people in the chairs sitting on the deck?
Yes, with the suntan lotion.
Eating the seagulls.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Those darn tourists.
This is an exercise in observation, right?
Yeah, try to keep parts of your tree a light tone, and then on maybe the left side, since that's the side where the sun hits it first, and then the right sides of the tree would be a little bit darker, so you get a sense that the tree has some volume and not just a stick-on tree. All right, we're ready to get you guys to lunch. With all the work we've been doing on the building and the trees and the ocean, this fence, which we've left since the beginning, is now looking like a very flat, kind of uninteresting part of the painting. Now, I didn't really talk about it at the beginning, but I wanted my eye to come down through here and into this little house here, and then perhaps come up and feast on some of the details in the top of the lighthouse, the ironwork. But I really love this little thing, and I've kept it fairly simple. And I think that nice white down there next to the blue kind of makes it a real focal point. But all this white over here is distracting. So I'm going to go into my ultramarine blue. I don't know if you're looking at my palette, throwing that on there. I'm going to get the alizarin, which I've been dipping into a lot. And I've got kind of purpley color here. And I'm going to just.
Whoa.
What?
What are you doing?
What in the world?
You're ruining it.
You're freaking us all out.
No.
Oh my gosh.
So
After all that work?
now this is sort of like when I throw the pink into the sky at the beginning, you guys go, oh, like, okay, now you want to try to make this stuff look a little bit designed. Like I wanted a lot of blue, a lot of shadow over on this
It's
side.
gorgeous. There's no
but I
way
want-
that I can do
I want
that.
less shadow over here. And those of us that have been at West Shop know that there are these these shadows from the pine trees. Now, on this fence, these pickets are the right sides of them are going to have a dark shadow side.
Yeah.
And the little line of the cross piece, I'm gonna outline that. I'm gonna put this down like this across. A little line underneath, and then a vertical down here. Little line underneath, a vertical here, little line underneath. You know, this thing is going to get a nice shadow on one side of it. And down in here where you have you can put a few of these. Okay, now I'm going to go like that. Like that. Now, I'm not going to do all of them because they don't all need them, but through these white areas, I'm going to have some vertical lines. This little post is a kind of a cute little double line to it. Come on. There. That goes to there. That goes to there. Get a line here. Maybe a little line at the bottom. Now, you know what I'm doing now? Here we go. Uh-oh.
You're gonna splatter.
Giving us a
Oh,
That's what you're doing.
So here's where that, just to kind of add some, it was so plain down here. Now I just got it in the sky. Whoops. Oh, well. Nope.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah, make them into seagulls. So you do have to watch that.
I'm like the parts.
oh goodness.
Okay. I'm
Where
gonna
are
go a
you
little bit
intending to put it?
of green.
Are you putting it on the road? Because we can't see it on
Yeah.
the screen.
Oh yeah. I am putting it on the road. Let me move this.
Yeah, thank you. There
There
you
we
go.
go. And then
Ah,
I'm putting a little bit on the green. I can overdo this, that's for sure, because this is gimmicky, but it does.
Ned, can we use dry brush to the same effect?
You can. Yes, you could. Yep, you could. You could use dry brush. Here, I'll try that. That Barb, good idea. That's Barb, right? Dry brush.
Yes, Barb.
Yep. I'm doing just the edge here, so the middle looks like the cars went
Ned.
along. You know what I mean?
Ned, I have to leave. Will you send around when you finish your finished painting?
I will.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, there's some dry
Eleni
brush.
drove you crazy, didn't he?
I know. Oh, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So that. Okay, I got some of those dots, and now I'm just going to go in and do a few details up in the lighthouse underneath the canopy. It's pretty dark, so I'm going to go back into here.
And what about the fence on the right?
Yeah, I knew you'd say that.
It looks unfinished.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right.
There's no tree over there.
Let's deal with that.
I couldn't fit that fence in my painting.
Oh, it's beautiful. It doesn't make any difference, yeah.
The skull here.
Yeah. I can see that.
Mermaids on the
Oh,
left.
I got like little cutouts on the side
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So it's pretty.
Boy, you got to make sure you remember which is the fence and which is the hole. You know. Yeah, there we go.
I think the back, those pictures, it was like samples.
So kind of dark under there. this is this is a conical cap, so the right-hand side is a little bit darker. I am going to put in underneath here the dark under there. There are some of these brackets.
Friends, their daughters like, they're like, oh, maybe you want one of these. I do.
Who's yakking?
I don't know, somebody needs
Oh.
to mute.
Sorry, I've got some people here in the kitchen. I'm gonna log off, Nettie, and then finish this up with the video.
Okay,
Thanks.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay, and underneath on the bottom side of this railing, I'm just gonna a little darker line here. So I have some dark light. Yeah. Remember, underneath that cap is kind of a darkish color. It's maybe not as dark as I've got it, but may lighten this side up a little bit. Okay, you can always go back and fuss, chimneys, details, roads, a few more little accents in the fence. But I hope you see why I did the fence. There was a reason. It wasn't just to show off and go, here we go, splash, splash. But I want to show you that it was too bright, way over on the side that I didn't care about. And I want those lines of the shadows to bring you down into the road and then around into this little house and back up to the lighthouse. So that's about where we are here. I do have some shadows here. This should have a little shadow here. If I want to make a few little lines of grasses at the bottom of some of these places, I can do some of that. Make it look like we need a weed whacker coming on through here.
I think you need a tire planter with geraniums.
Yeah. Right here.
Right there.
Red geraniums.
Go for it, man.
I was thinking of putting some bicyclists going down the road,
Yeah.
So, all right. So there we go with that. And we'll do critique on Wednesday. You're welcome to throw out questions while you finish here, but or to start to log off as you want. So
thank you, Ned. This has been a good class.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very much. Right.
Take care,
Thank
Ned.
you,
I'm
Ned.
gonna
See
log
you.
off.
Yes, sure, Kirk. All right.
I'll see you.
Yeah.
Bye.
I thought this painting was going to go faster. I thought we'd end a half hour early. I can't.
How could you possibly think this?
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's
Ned, I'm never sure why, but my colors always seem to end up more primary than yours. Does that make sense?
You mean like if it's blue water, it's just blue or something?
Yeah. More, even though I mix the colors, they look more primary, like you're looking at a set of crayons.
Yeah. Well, some of that may be your own color sense of what looks good. But the other thing is when I'm mixing on the palette, Diane, let's say I have some red. I have it off to the side, and then I dip my brush into some blue, and I have that to the another side, and then I gradually push the blue into the red until I get a mixture that I like.
Yeah, I think I need to just take the palette and practice that a little, doing the primary one and just gradually adding that other one into it.
Right. And if you have things like yellow or light green, you always want to start with the yellow and gradually add blue to it. Because if you start with blue, it's going to take an awful lot of yellow to make it green. It's
Okay. All right. Thank you. That helps.
Sure.
Well, thank you very much for the class today.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.